He was talking about Harry Kane. Hang on. I tried to put, hang on, edit. I don't want it on Twitter. It's telling me.
Did he say that he's no Michael Reddy?
There we go. Sam's late.
Hi, Sam.
By 21 seconds.
Punctual is not going in your CV, is it?
Oh,
But it's all right. He said 2 things so far, and both of them are telling somebody off.
Why am I telling people?
You're in one of these moods, are you, Alex?
I'm not
You're
in
in a
any
pub,
mood.
everybody, I guess.
No, I'm just saying. I thought we were desperate for content because Mike was going. The link for this says UTMW. No, UTMVX. Sorry, my eyes are going.
Well, don't read it out.
What? I don't think it's a problem. If you want to hijack it, do you remember when we did that Zoom call once and we put it live and then everyone tried to jump in it?
Yeah. Well, there's me on a Sunday evening. Just thought it was mildly amusing that it was /UTM as the first bit of the thing.
Yeah, it's great.
You miserable sod.
Who's got us on speaker?
Probably Sam.
Oh,
I've got headphones in, so
yeah, I'm looking around. I've got headphones in. Youngie's got headphones in. Mike looks like he's about to sell me insurance. But Sam doesn't look like he's got headphones in.
Sam's suddenly muted.
Might be that haircut, mate, to be fair.
I'm not having a go.
Actually, Sam's ear's looking all right tonight.
Yeah, it looks good now, mate.
It's looking good.
It was just the fresh trim about it that sort of threw us off.
Oh, well. Evening, Jack. Evening, Jose. I've only just recovered from Saturday. Do you have a good night, Jack? Well, I wasn't there, so I'm going to be able to contribute absolutely nothing to this show. I don't think I've got.
You can tell us about your Premiership adventures, though, Alex.
£100 for a ticket.
Judas.
I kept Judas. Kept it. £100.
Crikey. I hope that was a complimentary £100.
Yeah, I didn't pay it.
£100.
Are
you happy that you have a podcast left to come back to now you're back, boss? Having left it too.
Well,
Bruce, me and Rich.
I'm looking at this. Why is it Hannah's picture of Blundell Parks? It just looks like a colourful background.
As Bruce, he got distracted by colourful things.
He's put loads of stuff in. Look, he's put in his own picture here. I'll remove it. He's put that. So for those of you who are listening, it's just a picture of Bruce standing, not hammered like he was at Oxford, on the.
Are we sure?
Not really.
There's a slight lean to him.
Slightly.
I don't know if that's it. Just has a slight lean anyway. I've not paid that much attention to him. What
else has he put in here? There's a WhatsApp video here. I'm slightly worried about pressing this one. Oh, it's just a guy blazing the ball over the wheel.
Deft everybody to person last week, isn't it?
Rolly linesman's a cheat. Nice to know you're here. I didn't put that in.
Oh,
he was having a right old play last week, mate. I'm surprised there's anything left.
It's an absolute mess.
He tried to play the out theme tune. He played Play Your Calendars Right, didn't he?
He's moved my last of the summer wine. It's chaos. I don't know. And he's not here to even get a reprimand for it.
Is this like when a teacher comes back having had a supply teacher for a couple of days?
Yeah, they've moved everything around. They've moved.
Someone's had a shit in the crayons.
Yeah. Morning. Evening, everybody. Everybody seems so. Apart from watching the highlights, I have seen nothing. And the highlights, the club kindly provide us with 1.5 minutes of highlights so fans can really get an idea of how the team played. It's really appreciated for everybody out there. Maybe do some work. Unless that was it. If that's all you're saying.
That's not the club, is it? That's the league who dictate that. So
I'm sorry, the club. Hang on. Yeah, I'm absolutely having a go at the club. Don't they have the actual game that they can then cut to any way they want to?
I'm sure they could only put a certain amount of it on, or could they just sort of what's it called? I follow Mariners play, whatever it's called these days. Can they not kind of decommission that?
I'm pretty sure it all goes back to the EFL and they do what they want with it, to be honest.
No, we have the same. That's one of the reasons why we had the you could watch the full games before it came in, unless it's been changed. But I'm pretty sure other clubs offer a far more robust highlights package than the phoning it
No,
in.
so usually what happens is you get the 2 or 3 minute one, don't you, over the weekend? Then on a Monday you get the 10 minutes, which is the larger extended highlights. And that used to be when the watershed or whatever it's called for, like Match of the Day, it's not on the iPlayer until Monday because of the rights. No? Is that just me?
I'm just listening.
Well,
I'm
I think people who are in the country should do something about this. This is appalling, and there's nothing I can do anymore.
Nothing you did anyway. So everybody is welcome. It took me a while to figure out what club had gone through. Do you know what, Lee? This is the problem. I actually edited out the guy's name badge, which had the club crest on it, and I thought I'd done a really good job. But in my defence, it was a pound of pint at Craven Cottage. So I was drinking.
So you stretched it 2 for a change, did you?
Yeah. No, people bought me drinks.
Should have known, yes.
Do you want to have a game of guess who of who I saw at the Fulham game?
Oh yeah.
Why
Absolutely.
not? That sounds fantastic.
What should we play it with? We'll do this one. I'll turn it down. It's not messing up your microphone, is it, Mike? Yes. No. Okay. Right. Yes or no's? Go on then.
Okay. Is it an athlete?
Yes.
Do they play football?
No. Not currently.
You saw nobody that plays football. Well, you wouldn't do it at Craven Cottage, would you?
I don't think we can cast throat stones. So no, they currently do not play football.
Currently are X1.
Sam.
Okay. Sorry. Did they used to play football?
Yes.
Oh, Sam, you've wasted a question, mate.
Phoning it in.
Okay.
Yummy.
Did they play in the Premier League?
Yes.
Is it Jan Molby?
No.
Could have been.
Did they play for Fulham?
Yes.
That's a fucking coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it Paolo Wanchop?
No. Did Paolo Wanchop play for Fulham?
Is he French?
No. English.
No, it's not
Sam's going to
Thomas
ask if he's English now, isn't he?
It's not Van Hooijdonk either.
Honestly, I'm trying to think of a decent question here. Has he played in the last 5 years?
Oh. I'm going to say no, but you're probably not far off it.
Did he once have a high-profile move to Hull City where he never played?
No, it isn't Jimmy Bullard.
Is it Bobby Zamora?
It is Bobby Zamora.
Ah, get in.
Well done, Mike.
Bobby Zamora.
Hey.
Are you watching my screen? As I type in when he retired.
No, it's just the cameras that I've got in your house, mate.
That's fair. Is it reflected in the TV? No, yeah, it was
That's why
Bobby
you've moved from the
Zamora.
downstairs loo, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was Bobby Zamora. It's quite a famous one, I thought. Jackie says he's never getting that. And then, I wouldn't go, but I wouldn't recommend Premier League football. It's a load of shite.
Well, that was better than Brewster's games. At least we played
The
that
only-
one correctly.
The only bit I had as a problem was when I got given my ticket and my seat was right next to the West Ham fans. Like, would you imagine?
I bet they saw you coming as well, didn't they?
Family stand without the cage.
That
Basically,
twat over there, we're going to sing it in for 90 minutes. Look at him.
I tell some guy did. I said, "Look, mate, I'm not a Fulham fan, but I've done something you will never do, which is see my team lift a trophy at your stadium." Does that help? How is everybody else? Do we want to kick into the? Well, we've done 10 minutes. Let's do that then. I'm out. I'm rusty now. We need Bruce back.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! The double 1-3-0.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. If you're listening later, good morning or whatever it is. We are back. The Mariners fall to yet another defeat. I saw none of it apart from that we can't defend. So it's nice to see everything change from last week. So I assume we weren't doing defensive training. But Youngie, Sam and Mike were all there to absorb what was a defeat to the biggest, mightiest of teams. That is Barrow. So yeah, let's have a chat about how we lost to a norovirus. Youngie, you were there. What was it like? Everyone sounds quite depressed. Is this just overblown townness, or is this another season of impending relegation struggles again?
A little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, I think. We're clearly not learning our lessons. Last week at Chesterfield, we essentially gave them 2 goals and lost. Went 2-0 down and never came back. This week, we've essentially given them 2 games, 2 goals, went 2-0 down and never come back. Bit rinse and repeat. The only difference this week was that the first half performance was pretty dire. I got to give Barrow a lot of credit. I thought that they worked really hard to close us down very quickly. They obviously very quickly figured that we were going to play out from the back, swarmed us like the wasps that they look like with their yellow and black shirts on. And we never coped with it. And very, very quickly, we were resorting to hoofing it, or we would play it around the defence a little bit. Kind of keeper would pass to Rodgers, Rodgers would pass to the side, then we go back to the keeper again, and then he'd hoof it. And we never kind of got going with our normal that style of play that Artel's been trying to implement. The goal came at a very good time. Our goal came at a very good time in the sense that if they didn't, I think they would have got booed off the pitch at half time. I think that goal lifted the crowd a little bit. But besides a bit of a flurry in the second half, at the beginning of the second half, yeah, we never really looked in it. I thought Barrow were very well organised. They did a job on us, and we never had a plan B. So yeah, very, very disappointing.
Mike, you were fighting fires on social media yesterday. You got me in trouble though, because people were blaming me for you blaming Warren. I just want to say that Mike was in charge of the Twitter account during the game yesterday.
I don't think that was particularly controversial, though. I think that's a fact, isn't it? I'll come on to that in a minute, but it was frustrating. And I think I said yesterday that I can understand a team being poor because it happens now. It's not acceptable, but it happens. So you can understand that. And in the first half, we were really poor. We just couldn't get going. We couldn't get hold of the ball for long periods of times and settle into the game. Maybe later we can speak a little bit about maybe the atmosphere of playing in. Players looked a lot nervous, very nervous. But what isn't forgivable, teams being off it is because it happens over a season. But what isn't forgivable is the manner of the goals we concede. Now, we can talk about defending and whatever you like. Now, the first goal, Charles Burnham loses his man. Yeah, that's just don't lose your man. There's nothing you teach them what to do. This is who you're marking. Don't let him go. And the second one, Warren's on the front post. He takes 2 or 3 steps to his right, misjudges the ball, and it goes exactly where he was stood a minute ago. So for as much of us moaning about being poor defensively, it's just absolute brain farts that are absolutely killing us. It was the same last week, and it's the same this week. Now, we were poor, but we weren't 2-0 poor. We were poor on the ball going forward. I didn't think we looked particularly bad defensively. We've just then chosen to give another team 2 goals and another good team 2 goals. And there's not many times you can give teams like Barrow or Chesterfield 2 goals and come back and get anything from the game. I think Youngie's right. We scored a goal when we absolutely needed to. And we had a bit of a go the second half, the first sort of 20 minutes or so. Once you got past that 75 minute mark, though, we've just got no legs and we've got nothing to bring on from the bench. And it always fizzles out, and it did last week. So frustrating, But those individual errors are absolutely killing us, and they've got to stop. And I don't think it's anything about the training or what they're being told. You should know as a defender to head the ball, not run underneath it. It's nothing to do with the training, in my opinion. That.
Everything okay at home?
Sides have got a blueprint to beat us now, haven't they? After yesterday, I thought, certainly at home, don't engage with our centre backs. Don't get drawn out of position. Wait for the crowd to get on the players' backs and then induce a kind of, and then as a result of a combination of that, get the centre halves and the goalkeeper to boost it upfield. As we're quite. It sounds bizarre to say this, but we're actually quite one-dimensional. If we can't draw players out and then play through the lines and so on, we don't really look like we know what to do. I agree with what the guy said about the first half was very poor. We're going to have a conversation with my dad before the game started, saying we haven't actually played badly yet this season, particularly even at Notts County. I thought we were kind of okay, in a sort of open and maybe slightly reckless way. But we're not. But the first half yesterday was definitively poor. Second half was a bit better, a lot better. In fact, I thought it was a half decent game of football. I thought Barrow weren't quite as sort of agricultural and non-leaguey as I remember them in previous years. If Green connects well with that chance, with that opportunity that Danny Rhodes ends up scoring, but he's offside and it's 2-2, we've got all the momentum behind us. But I feel hard pressed to criticise Kieran Green given he's already scored once, and I don't expecting a brace from every game is a bit too much. To be honest, I thought Green epitomised us yesterday. Dyer in the first half, quite a bit better in the second half. Without I thought the hysteria on the back of it, as always, was as unwarranted as it was unsurprising. But I would say that again next week. I'm not so to talk about the manager's position or anything more broader than that, but all of a sudden you're looking at bottom end of the table, another relegation battle. Here we go again, crack Grimsby Town near the bottom of League Two. So I do think it's important we get something next week because the fixtures after that don't look like bearing much fruit, to be honest with you.
Guys, this sounds all doom and gloom. What have I missed? When I left, we were the greatest team since Buckley Ball has ever preceded us. 2 games later, people are putting their head in a noose. What's going on? Is it that bad?
No, I don't think it is. The point I'm trying to make, and I don't agree with the last point Sam made, the point I'm trying to make is other than for stupid defensive errors and individual mistakes, we're a lot better than we were last season. You know, you can't take those errors away because they've happened, but I remember last season we were getting absolutely carved apart by teams when we had the ball, we lose it, and then bang, 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 2 and 3-0. You know, this team can play with the football. They didn't in the first half yesterday, but they can do it. And they've shown us consistently, really. And we've been on the wrong end of a few 1-0 or 1-goal defeats. So I just fundamentally think it's a better team than last year. I think it's just going to take some time for it to start going the way we want it to. The game against Bradford and Chesterfield, the Bradford one we won, the Chesterfield one we didn't. We played some really good football. And I don't think that necessarily changes the team from one week to the next.
I have a question. I keep hearing we are a better team than last season. Our defence individually is better than last season. Would anyone like to have a guess of how many goals we conceded so far this season in 8 games?
No, I don't think it's a matter of just comparing.
No,
It's going to be more.
Probably more.
We conceded 18. Hang on. No, there's no but, Sam. You can be quiet and let me finish my point. Then you can come in. We've conceded 18 goals this season from 8 games. We conceded 9 last season. That's not a small disparative amount. And I understand we've played Sheffield Wednesday, but at the same time, we also played Man City's under 21s, but it's still a team that's far more, in terms of it. We'd also played last season. Who else have we played? Mansfield, who played us off the park. So that's not a small amount. If you want to take Sheffield Wednesday out, it's still 13. It's still 4 more goals than we conceded last season against when we were exceptionally poor.
I think that is a comparison, yes, but I don't think it's a relevant comparison. I think if you look at the 2 teams in the whole,
why is that not a relevant comparison when you're saying that the team is the individuals are much better?
I was just about to say that bit, mate. If you look at the 2 teams in comparison, you watch the games and how they play. Last season we couldn't do anything with the football, and we just got absolutely torn to shreds. This season, we can play with the football, we can get phases of play, we can dominate possession, we can create chance, we can score goals. What we can't do and keep doing is these massive individual errors. You know, in the Chesterfield game, it's 2 individual errors that cost us 2 goals. Yesterday, it's really shocking bits of defending from set pieces that cost us 2 goals. That's an inherently different problem from what was there last year. You know, it's not the same. It's not the same issue. Last year, when we had the ball, we'd lose it and teams would just run through us. This year, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. That's the difference.
I think Sam made a very good point earlier, though, and I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. I think he's right. When things are good, they're very good. When we play this, when we get the ball down and everything flows, everything is excellent, and it is far more pleasing on the eye than last season. We play, it's a more attractive football, and it probably will get us more goals moving forward than we. And I think that'd be interesting to look at as how many we scored last season at that point as well, because I don't think we were particularly scoring for fun in the first part of certainly under Hurst at that point of the season. But by the by. Sam's right. Once we can't do that, we haven't got anything else right now. That's my concern. Is that once Barrow quickly figured out how to kind of swarm us and to take control of the game, we didn't have a plan B. We didn't have that. Okay, what do we do now? Okay, do we change shape? Do we go a little bit more direct? What do we do? Everything's a little bit lost when it isn't working, and I think the case in point more is especially in the second half of games when clearly we're running out of energy. And you mentioned that yes, we haven't got many options off the bench, but if we haven't got many options of the bench, then we've got to think of a plan B, haven't we? We've got to think about something that we can do with the players that we've got off the bench, and currently we don't look like we're doing that. You know, he made 5 changes yesterday. And Ainley's an experienced league player. He's got 300 games under his belt. He's not a rookie, you know. Okay, one of them was Barrington and Gardner came on as well, but it feels a little bit like we're gonna take off the energy of a Vernon or maybe a Green or whatever it may be, and we're just going to stick a square peg in a round hole. And that's where Artell's got to be thinking, okay, what have I got on the bench and how do I change it up to look at them players that I've got coming on and where do we go from there? Hence why I think we've struggled pretty much in the last 20 minutes of most games this season. Even in the games we've won, we've struggled in the last 20 minutes.
So we scored the same amount of goals this season as we did last season. We've scored 10. And that obviously that doesn't include the 15 we scored from the penalty spot against Bradford.
Vaguely remember us though. We actually until about midway through September, we actually started last season okay. We're having similar sort of conversations to what we were normally having with Hursty about not solid defensively, hard to beat, work hard, that kind of thing, but struggling to create chances and score goals. Then something flips, and I'm not going to go over that. But what I was the point I was making, we're playing a very different way of football to what we were playing at the back end of last season under Hursty at this stage last season. That was all about stopping the opposition primarily, much more fundamentally conservative style. This one's much more adventurous, borderline reckless. So you're going to concede more goals, but the fact we've not scored anymore is that sort of undermines my argument a little bit. I understand that. The points about players on is there, and this is my other thing. Is there anything actually, particularly in attacking areas, coming back from injury or in reserve that's going to actually kind of improve as games go on? Because Ibiku's not a game changer. Yes, he offers something a bit different, but there's no other wide players sitting there waiting to come on and so on. So if Rose, Vernon, and Yasin, I've forgotten how to say his name again. I remember the conversation a couple of weeks ago. Doesn't quite work, or there's an injury to them. We look a bit exposed to me.
Yeah, I think Ibiku and Luca sound like they're about to be coming back in the next couple of weeks or so. It's just a shame, as you say, we've just got so little options available that's just what kills us in the last little bits of the game. But I would say as well, comparing two sides is if you pick the 2 points of the season, that's fair enough. But if you pick the start we've had now to the end we had last year, it's overwhelmingly a better side at other things. And if you compare it to the run Paul Hurst had, it's a better side. So it just depends. I don't think it's comparing apples for apples. It's got its problems that we need to work through. I just don't think those problems are as fundamental as they were last season. Fundamentally, last season, it looked like we couldn't keep hold of the ball and not concede 4 or 5 over the season. Now it looks like we can do that
and concede 4 or 5.
No, yeah, but it's the manner of that. What I'm saying is the manner of that, which is easier to stop players making silly individual mistakes than have an inherent problem with your entire setup as a team and teams just being able to carve you apart, which they can't do now. We dominate the ball. We usually dominate the stats in terms of shots on target. Doesn't win you a game, but it gives you an indication of where the game's at. And I just think we had a bigger fundamental problem with the entire setup last season. We have a problem with players doing silly things at silly times at the minute. Basically, bring Doug Tharn back in and it's all fine.
He wasn't even on the bench yesterday. He'd been on the bench for the last couple of games, and then mysteriously appeared in the press box.
He's not. Yeah, he's not good enough to get. Hang on. First and foremost, you're not in the press box, so don't imply that was what was happening.
The press box is right next to my seat on my where my season ticket is, so I can see the players.
Sam's the bloody rubbish guy. Sam's the bloody rubbish town guy, isn't he?
You're the bastard that's always shouting that. Bloody rubbish town.
It's a shy town.
Pass us the ketchup and eat lunch.
Smack it forward. I hadn't even got the ball. What about?
Yeah,
4,000 pensioners. The base house is going to be well empty by the end of the winter.
Don't know what to say to that.
I was giving you one there, Sam. You didn't take
I'm
it.
not playing. I'm not playing the same. I'm not playing the same games as this because it will just come back to bite me in a few because you can just throw back 14 years at me for as long as you like. So I'm not going to get involved in that. But what I was going to say is that I've lost. Yeah, so Tharn was mysteriously on the bench the last couple of weeks. We were speculating whether he'd come back in.
I've heard he's not good enough.
I also think, and maybe it is a bit early to be saying this, the keeper remains an issue. Eastwood again. Well, Eastwood comes in right yesterday.
Both keepers remain an issue.
Okay, the keeper, whoever the keeper is in goal at that given moment, is an issue. He's obviously taken right out the firing line because he thinks either he needs some protection or he's not.
Well, that's what he did say, Sam.
The last goalkeeper we had who made saves was James McEwen. Because keepers don't make saves anymore. Because of Guardiola revolutionising football. And therefore goalkeepers are bloody footballers.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, yeah. I was mid rant and you
Are we not thinking that this is not just the greatest troll that Lincoln City has ever done to us? Where they go, no, great, right, it's amazing. Have him. Do you know what? He needs the game time. He's amazing. Well, they're all just sat there going, we're just giving him Tommy fucking forecast.
This is finally revenge for when we sent them Adam Buckley, isn't it? This is they've been waiting for this for 20 years.
Yeah, but Youngie, we will always have the upper hand because the money we made off those watches
comes around, Youngie.
Absolutely.
The money we made off those watches.
I did say last week that I wasn't sure whether you take him out or you stick with him, but obviously Artell said in his post-match that he'd undenied about it all week and decided to take him out of it. And the reason being is that he thought if we're going to struggle and he plays a pass and it goes wrong, then he feels that, that confidence may affect him. And I've read it. Shut up, Pete. So I don't buy the argument that he's shit. He just looks devoid of confidence. So that might be the right thing to do. Get him out of there and let him come again because he's played at a decent level and he's well thought after. So I just don't buy the argument that somebody's shit. I think it's very difficult as a goalkeeper. Once your confidence looks to have gone and people are watching you, things start to go wrong. You can't hide. You can't be that wing back that doesn't get forward as much or plays a safe ball. You're the goalkeeper. So
do you think it'd be better for his confidence? Do you think it'd be better for his confidence if when the ball is getting near him, we all turn our backs so we're not watching him? Do you think that'd be better? So he's not got that pressure of us all watching him. So if we all turn, when it gets into like the final third, if we all turn our backs, then he's not got to worry about it, has he? I think that'll be all right, don't you? Think that'll affect his confidence, Mike?
You sarcastic bastard, aren't you? You know
is
what I
everyone doing
mean.
the Poznan?
But there's other places on the pitch. It's easier to hide, and we've seen players do it. They don't want the ball. As a goalkeeper, you can't.
Oh, I'd love to do a game of hide and seek at Blundell Park. I think if we can,
You go hide, we won't come fucking find you.
do you think they'll let us do that?
It'd be hard.
Like
now.
an
You can't hide behind
like an
there's good
orienteering
coaching
exhibition
and
around Blundell Park.
You are sorry? What did you say, Youngie?
Like an old school orienteering expedition around Blundell Park. That'd be great. Capture the flag or something like that. That'd be amazing.
Do
I'd be up
you
for
think
that.
they'll allow us? Do you think they'll allow us to do that?
What allow us to do
Well,
it?
we're not the favoured podcast anymore, are we? So no.
Not since you joined, mate. It was
the only time they ever ring us now is when they're telling us off for something Bruce has said.
Look, can I make?
Am I going to? Do you want us to do an interview? What's Bruce said? What? How many people complained? Loads of them. Did they give their names? No. No, they didn't. It was Mr. A concern. There were 3 complaints. Were there now? Right. Okay.
Can I just dig you out of that slowly onto something?
Don't dig me out. It's absolutely fine.
One point I would make.
Grimsby Borough levels. That's fine.
Is I said a couple of weeks ago after the Bradford game.
Is already in our DMs.
After the Bradford game that I thought it deserves time, and I do sometimes think that the about turn, and this hasn't got anybody in particular in mind, but you do see a lot of it on social media. The about turn on opinions week on week, it does get tiresome. Like if we all thought that the Bradford game and the games that have gone before were showing the signs of things that could be good, we have to give it some patience, and we have to accept at times it will go wrong. Now that doesn't mean I accept a season of consolidation is our aim. It shouldn't be, but it's a realization of where we are finishing last season to coming into this season. We have to be realistic to our position. And for a time, if we are going to improve, we're going to be very inconsistent.
I think
that's a realistic view of where we are.
Have they thought if they don't want fans to wildly veer from, almost suicidal to, we're the greatest thing that's ever, but, rent the bus. Maybe if they played consistently at some point where they gave at least a 7 out of 10 performance for 3 games in a row, then fans would feel a little bit, whoo.
Is that realistic though with Division 4 footballers?
No.
The nature
well,
of
apparently,
Division 4
hang on, Sam. Barrow seemed to have been able to muster it. Mighty Barrow.
They played in those. We don't know whether played in those other games, and it's a very short period of time. This is a completely new way of
last
playing.
Season they were the same as well, weren't they?
Get us that Sheffield training ground.
Yeah, where's our Sheffield training ground? Nottingham, Hooters. Additional things to bring people in who say words like Sigma and let him cook, bro.
I think it's a lovely it's a lovely ambition to think that we can come out of last season and completely turn it around. I just think it's devoid of reality to the situation. It could happen, but it doesn't happen on purpose. I think sometimes it happens by accident, and we haven't had that accident.
If you look at Artell's history as well with Crewe, it was, to be fair, it was gradual improvement for year on year on year. The idea that we're going to turn around from being atrocious to watch and very, very negative and so on at the back end of last season to keep us up to all of a sudden turning into Barcelona overnight, which I think is basically what some people expected, it's just for the birds. It's just not going to happen. And all I think we want from a realistic-minded fan should be expecting, realistically, is a gradual improvement year on year. So we don't have the massive turnover of players every single summer. We keep a core of players moving forward, and we sort of improve upon that incrementally over a period of time. Now that's hard at the end of the road, as we are at the end of the A180 in Division 4, where you're at the bottom of the food chain. So this is going to take time.
Is it that particular road? Is it just because of the experimental road surface? Is that why? Or is it just because we're at the end of the line?
Honestly, you make a joke about that. I do think I said that a couple of weeks ago when I was driving, when we were driving along, because they've shut the Humber Bridge. So they've made massive roadworks at 40 miles an hour on the A63.
By the way.
So they're not shut the bridge. So I don't know why I said that. So, and I'm thinking, if I'm a player driving from
Tory
West
shuts
Yorkshire,
bridge that connects regions.
again, okay, what was I going to say? Driving all the way down that road on that noise and that would put me off. That would put me off as a player. I am difficult as it is to say.
But I think we've discussed this. Sorry, Youngie. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah,
what
sorry,
Russell Slade used to do though? Russell Slade used to bring people in through the A16 and the A46 way, so that they
Yeah,
didn't.
Bucko used to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Alan Buckley used to do that. Absolutely, yeah. You turn them off at Barnaby Top, go past the airport, and go that way. But
In police
it's
blockade there, you can't go that way, mate. You'll have to go that way. No choice.
damn it, like, you get when they go past Nicole's and go, okay, well, welcome to Cleethorpes Road.
Entrance
But
career.
yeah, but
Which
like,
is what it said, by the way. Before we get another
It did.
complaint, that's
did.
that's what it used
Yeah.
to say on the door.
Onto your point, Sam. To be fair, I don't think a lot of players get as far as getting on the road to come to Grimsby. I think the whole point of putting you off. How many actually get as far as that? I think location is a massive. We know we've had this discussion so many bloody times, haven't we? We know location is a factor. Of course, we do. And I completely agree with you, Sam, on the point about player turnover and trying to get to a point where it's minimal at the end of the season.
It's just, do you know what? We only get 3 a show.
Let's say
That's
Ben
it.
Bristow.
We're gonna put a new rule in. We're only getting three per show to dig at Sam. Ben said
I
Tory
haven't
staff
met-
members
I haven't
suggest we
done
swap
one.
them round. No, sorry, mate. You're gonna have to wait till next week now.
I'm
Or you
gonna
can
leave
do
it
it in the
alone.
WhatsApp group.
New leaf.
I want to say
New
Ben
leaf.
Bristow, when I was in my former life, I was working extensively to get roads a particular road duelled with flyovers put in that the Labour government scrapped the second they came in, having secured the funding for it. So
Was
if
there
we're
a
going to
body
go
you
that
needed to
way,
hide?
yeah.
Did you get it done after 14 years? Was it done?
I was only there 2, man. So you
Oh.
can't blame, you can't hold me.
Even God took Sunday off, didn't he, Sam?
Even God took some-
Didn't see God build.
when we came to power. I was 10 when we came to power.
Didn't see God building any dual carriageways, did he? Light and sun, half arse in it.
I never see anyone building dual carriageways or speed them reduced to protect the workforce who were never there. But that's a different bugbear of mine at the moment.
Just on that
so
point,
Youngie had a question.
It did, yes. That's why I stopped.
Sorry, yeah. Right, where was I? Yeah, so yeah, I agree with Sam. Getting back on point, that we have this notion of massive player turnover has not helped us over the years, and because we've struggled to keep something stable. And in fact, I don't think it's any coincidence that probably the year that we kept the most stable was from the period between the Bristol Rovers playoff final and the next year. That was probably the least player turnover of probably all the seasons that we were in the conference. It's probably no coincidence that we actually naturally progressed and got promoted the next season. And I agree with Mike's point as well. Yeah, we all know that we're going to have to be a little bit patient with this, but I think we're underestimating the fact that football fans are not really notoriously the most patient types of people, and they are very reactionary. And it's only going to take a few home games where we don't get results, and you know exactly what's going to happen, where people will slowly turn in, or the attendances will go down, the atmosphere will get a little bit more hostile, and suddenly, if we're not careful, we could be back in that position again. We've just got to be wary of that. I mean, the atmosphere yesterday was shocking. It was like an airport lounge. It was so flat and just turgid.
Everybody just eating their Toblerones.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I was gonna come on to say that, mate, and I was going to ask you because I'm listening, so all I'm hearing is what's behind Matt Dean. But to me, it didn't even seem like that. It seemed actively hostile what I was listening to. All through the first half, it's not. Your team is clearly struggling.
Bring Sam in on this because Sam's obviously behind Artell.
I will do.
In the press box.
Yeah. So it actively sounded like your team is struggling, and it actively sounded hostile towards what we were trying to do. Every time something went wrong, there's the moans, and I get that. But also what I do get is our home form hasn't been that terrible of late. I think we won the last couple last season, and we've won the league games this year at home. So I think it's 4 or 5 unbeaten. So I don't buy and we've played some good football. So I don't buy that argument. But it just, to me, it's first half of the game, your team's not playing. It just sounds like, in the main stand in particular, people just shouting abuse at people. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it.
It's all aimed at Sam. But Sam, how did Artell react yesterday? What was it like in the main stand?
The main stand was, it surprised me how quickly it took them to, because it was before we went 2-0 down, it was when it was only 1-0. The people around me started not just having a go at misplaced passes or having a go at or players losing the ball, which I kind of get if you're grown at that, but just when the centre halves are passing it out short and not lumping it long, and the ball's just not quite, just little things that happen. Having a go at them. That's why I kind of was getting quite. Had a pop at someone behind me, who just told them to pack it in because it was relentless for a few minutes, and I just didn't help anybody. Anyway, it was really got on my nerves yesterday. Really got on my nerves into, because if you do that, then the opposition's going to sense that and just kind of play to that and make it get on their backs, and that's going to make it awful for the players to play it. I'll tell. So there was a moment when, similar time when I had a go at someone behind me, that he sort of turned around and just sort of went to us, sort of calm down, and then sort of intimated, started pointing. He was obviously talking to someone specifically. Started pointing at them, kind of going, no, he's intimating that no, he's been told to do that, and he's been told to do that. And then the net result of that was he then said, because of what you did, basically, he's then whacked it upfield because of the pressure from the crowd. That's why I've because I can't hear the conversation. I'm kind of looking at the game as well, or simultaneously. So David Artell or whoever wants to correct me on that one, I'm more than. I thought it was good to see Artell, frankly, go back at the. You can't just kind of say things without consequence. We are past this collective, especially in quite a small ground. It's not unusual that players going to hear people, hear fans. So, frankly, I mean, I'm going to get some stick for this, but it's incumbent on us to stick with it. I said it a few weeks ago. Things are going to go wrong. Yesterday was not great, particularly in the first half. But we know the process for this, particularly if we lose next week at home to Bromley. Alex won't need a podcast. Alex, some sort of 60-minute rant about how bad Bromley are and how Andy Woodman's a disgrace and how losing to them means to shut the club and so on. But
nothing is going to, confirm the celebration of 125 years at Blundell Park. Nothing is going to be more, more apt than watching Bromley shithouse their way to a 1-0 win with Andy Woodman doing the whole Steve Evans, cup in his ear, fist bumping, applauding the 13 people from Bromley that have turned up. Nothing is
planted a Bromley flag in the Graham Souness style in the middle of the centre circle. We own this land now. 125 years.
But all it is, because all they can afford is like one of those little ones that goes on top of a sandcastle. That goes in the. We all know that's going to happen, and I assume we're all ready for that.
Just going back to what Sam was saying, now I don't want to dig anybody out because I don't go out because I live away, so I don't go to Blundell Park as often as I'd like. So I'm not there, so I only hear what I hear on the radio. However, we've heard managers mention, every new manager mentions it at some point, and Artell has managed it. Do you actually think Blundell Park is a hard place to play for a home team and an easy place to play for an away team?
Well, we don't need.
I know two of you. Well,
we don't.
Yes or no, really.
Well, Artell came and basically said in his first interview that Blundell Park was a pretty easy place to come.
We might be lying.
Well, he fucking isn't now, is he?
I'm just interested because I get there a couple of times a year, so I genuinely don't know that.
I remember Podrick Hammond actually when he was playing Newport speaking about it, saying that if we just keep it quiet for the first 10 minutes, get ahead in the game, we know the fans will turn on them. So that was a few years ago. That now, so rightly or wrongly, sorry, that's a Fentyism there. Sorry, I'll take my 5 minutes of punishment.
You can take the man at the Tory party.
Rightly or wrongly. Yeah. That's the reputation. That's the reputation we've got. I mean, I've had enough this year already. Please stop.
Sorry, I just thought it was a
Jason,
relevant
got-
question
and,
because our Tell did mention it as well a little bit.
Well,
He
look,
talked
I
about it in
put-
his thing.
So Hannah
Hurst
said it.
alluded to it.
Hannah said it on the WhatsApp group, saying, "What's the fucking point in bringing a drum and then using it for 2 minutes?" And I tweeted it out, and Kyle Tasker, who I think is one of the drummers at some point, saying, "Well, if it's shit, we're not going to do anything." Well, that's the whole fucking point. You bring a drum. You're not there to, bang it on and create an atmosphere once the game is, we're doing well. Where the fuck is everybody? Where's the next generation of Town fans that come along and create an atmosphere? Because in 2015, 2014, we had an incredible atmosphere where there was young lads. I assume they've all moved on or they've got kids or whatever it may be 10 years later. There was a decent atmosphere where they went and they made it. And I understand that might well come from progressively being near the top and winning more games than you lose. But I don't understand where the atmosphere has gone. And, we can talk about it as much as you want. We've talked to Jason Andrew on this very podcast, said, look, if you want to create an atmosphere, you do this. Yesterday, we had one of our lowest away attendances, which is what they said they were going to do, is they're going to try and make it a better atmosphere at Blunder Park, because at least what you can do is help encourage an atmosphere rather than, you can't make it. We can't hire actors in to do it, but you can encourage an atmosphere. And it doesn't sound like the club are even bothered about trying to manifest an atmosphere. They're quite happy to jam people in and spread the noise out and put families in the pontoon, which is fine. But the pontoon has always been I always surprised that Hannah takes Aya, her kid, who's like 4 or 5 years old, into the middle of the pontoon. If that's meant to be where the noise is, that's not really what's happening. We're making it into a family stand. So the atmosphere is never going to come from it. People always say, we'll sing when it gets louder, which is, when we play better. That's fine. But that's not everybody. And I don't need to get to a point where we're talking about having a freaking Tifosi or, a ultras or whatever it means. Just a group of like-minded people who want to sing and shout, get a bit drunk and scream some sound. And we've talked about it on this podcast to the club and said, this is how you do it. At least encourage it. They don't want to do that. They haven't done that. There's talk about doing it at another game, but that keeps getting pushed down the road. We've got Bromley next. Nothing's coming of that, even though we've asked about it and said, look, are we going to do anything with this? Is that not really? Because it's a bit of admin.
Bromley's a perfect game to do it. Bromley's a perfect game to do it for as well. They'll bring barely a minibus load.
Yeah.
They'll all be in the covered corner. There won't be a particularly high demand on tickets because it's just a random home game in September. Open up the Osman and say it's unreserved seating. Do as you like. Transfer your season ticket into there. Anyway, I want to make your point. Yeah. Tifosi will be I'm joining the Tifosi next year, mate. 1st January 2025. Full red regalia. I can.
He's joining Labour, is he?
It'll be less than a bus load,
that's
mate.
an exclusive.
Half the bus will be for Woodman.
Half the bus will be for Woodman. Hey, Mike, we can't be mean to him.
I can say that.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast to do the preview because I haven't found a Bromley fan yet. There isn't enough. So
yeah,
we might have to try and ask Woodman
Bromley
to get
fans. They're all Crystal Palace fans. They're all Crystal Palace fans who can't afford to or refuse to go to Selhurst Park, so they go to Bromley instead. Not a proper club. They only got a proper pitch 3 games ago.
Sorry, Mr. Woodman.
What's he going to do? Turn around and have a go at me?
Just show the Kevin Donovan penalty over and over again. Oh no, he saved the penalty, didn't he? No, forget.
Yeah,
that.
don't show that.
Yeah, show the goal.
Oh, this has gone wrong. We've done the wrong bit. Oh, Youngie, samesy. I didn't even
look
know
how good you were.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We will. But
that's like Youngie. That's like Mike saying to me, "Just show Sam the 2019 exit poll over and over and over again, and make him laugh about it. At least get it right."
You're doing it yourself now, Sam. I've tried to help you. You're on your own now, mate. You're making the references yourself.
You've got to own it. You've got to own it.
You're on your own.
Nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
That's the Conservative manifesto.
But Simon Odson's
got to own it.
Alex, have you seen Simon Odson's comment?
What did Simon say? Most of them got nicked at Chesterfield. Did they really? Oh, that's a shame. Maybe that's why. Still got that way home through the Yarborough Estate and Waltham. I'm not sure that's what we need to do. Take them through the Yarborough. Tim Hubbard says yesterday was our first home league defeat since Wrexham in March. Maybe we've been spoiled. Guys, before we move on and we talk about some other bits, because time has actually gone quite quickly. Anyone you want to say stood out yesterday for the right reasons before we move on?
McJanet.
Okay.
I thought McJanet
Green in the second half.
Janet and Rose always are decent.
Fine. There we go. Right.
Yeah.
Why didn't you mute yourself when you're blowing your nose?
What is wrong with you?
Why are you so weird?
Do you remember when we started the podcast and you just sat there burping for like 30 seconds?
Yeah. It's incredible. Imagine it, Right. Investment. Mike, you want to talk about that? Apparently, I'm not really bothered. 1.5 million, barely touched the sides, will it? Or am I being too miserable?
I didn't specifically. I thought it was worth a mention that that we've now got two new investors we know about and a small consortium of American owners that are investing in 1878 in turn into our club. I think it's a good indictment of Jason and Andrew that people are investing and putting their money up. It's not a massive investment. Well, of course, it's 1.5 million is a lot of money, but in football terms, but it's more shoulders to the wheel and more resources and shoulders to bear on the burden. So that's great news. So welcome to them, and I think it's great that we're debt free and they've converted their loans into shares.
That is a massive thing, and that's the difference between. I mean, that's not the only difference, but that's the big difference between what we had previously and what we have now. Where we're frustrated with where the team are and the growth it's taking, but I'm sure no one is more frustrated than Jason and Andrew, who are putting their actual money, time, and effort into it. And things are being improved off the pitch, but it just shows how far we've had to come to get us back to parity with League Two clubs like Barrow, where we're looking to try and move on with it. And I can only thank them for taking the shit and spending their hard-earned cash on, let's face it, our Saturday afternoons.
There's like 6 million between them, wasn't it, when they made the conversion before we knew about the extra 1.5?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, nobody's forced them to do that, but they are doing that. And I think sometimes, especially in pre-seasons and when things aren't going wrong, a lot of people forget that that's their hard-earned money, that's their family's inheritance, that they're just plowing into. And I tell you what, unless this goes right and we end up in the Championship and somebody buys us, they ain't getting the money back. So they're spaffing it up the wall because they love the club.
They think they're getting it back. Stop it.
Well, no, if things go right, then they will, because somebody will buy the club.
Yeah,
but
of course.
What's the odds of that? So they know full well the odds are they're not going to earn that money back. So fine, yeah, let's criticise, but let's not just say, write a check, get your checkbook out. They spent £6 million bloody pounds of their own money. It's not saddled the club with any debt. And if you can tell me anybody that in the last 20, 30, 40 years has wanted to fund the football club to those sorts of levels, then tell me who they were. Because we had an owner that didn't do that, made more money when he left from what he'd actually put in, and nobody put any money in. So we can just acknowledge that, I think.
Hey, Marley put... No, who was it? It was the other... Who used to be the old guy? Well done, but Mike. Yeah, Youngie's applauding you, and rightly so.
Mike Parker.
It was like it's no, not Mike Parker. Mike Parker's put some proper money in.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? Philip Day. Philip Day put a whole $3,000 in.
That's the other guy in it.
No, Marley was the other. He put Day put a whole $3,000 in, from what I remember. So it gets you the chairmanship. That did back then. So yeah,
So
I can only.
I was trying to intimate a puppet then. That didn't go very well, but that's what I was trying
No,
to do.
I thought you were just being mean to Liverpudlians again by doing the whole calm down thing.
John just made a point in the comments about that it's in shares, so someone needs to buy those shares. That is true, but also people can just offer them money for the shares. So you see it all the time. The Premier League clubs get bought for a penny because of the debt they're taking on and stuff. So whilst in theory that's right, if you need to sell, then the buyer can pretty much name their price. The shares don't have to be the same value.
There we go. So anything else we want to talk about? Sure, there was something in the top of my head that I can't remember. Is there anything else we need to talk about with Town?
Oh, nice to have the reserves back that we said they were dead.
I think Bruce is this investor. I think Bruce is the American sport enthusiast, because he's been moaning about them thanking away fans and they've stopped doing it. He was moaning about them not having reserve fixtures and they've done it. I'm wondering where he is right now, actually. I think he's at a board meeting.
I mean, this feeling he had and that's hurting. I think he's just he's Yeah, what happens next then? What next on Bruce is probably means abolishing football and just play games for 90 minutes rather than any football. That'll be the next level.
The whole of Bundle Park gets a roof and it just becomes one big bar that you don't have to leave.
The
Before
Brumbrella.
the game gets kicked. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
Do you think he's like that
it's a
secret millionaire?
blockade. Possibly. He's been evaluating us all along and we've failed. He's going to tell us there was a job waiting for us, but we all failed.
Because
He's
he's
gonna
always
pop up
on
on
the
the other one.
piss. I've never known him be at work. And if he does work, he doesn't do any work there. I think he's a millionaire and he's just like
Nice
filming
house
a
and clean.
documentary, probably with Jack or something. It's some,
Do you think that's it?
I won't put money on it, I'll be honest.
Also, just trying to look out the Mariners Trust. I think they are very close to doing their nominations. If you want to join the trust, I think you've got a couple of days before you can put your nomination in. If you want to be part of the trust and do some work for them, it would be really great if you could. They always need new energy and new people to invest their time into it. So do have a think about it.
Sam's got some free time.
Yeah, let's not give it to Sam. Sam, are you going to go for it? He's nodding.
No.
Why not?
Next question.
Do you not like being part of cooperatives of the common man coming together to ease the burdens and to support their community?
Ease the burden to support their community. Right. Yes, I'm very in favour of that kind of thing, but I'm not going to get.
I didn't know Sam was for unions.
This is not the opportunity. No, I'm not in favour of the Labour Party, which is why I'm not in favour of stealing pensioners' winter fuel allowance.
Stop taking the bait, Sam. That's why it keeps coming back at you. Just leave it alone.
Oh, he enjoyed this too much. I don't know.
Have we done now?
No,
He's just worried that he's not going to get his.
So anyway, it's a non-starter.
He's just worried he's not going to get the same amount of lunch that he would do because anti-lunch is just saving the money up a little bit more.
Haven't we got news?
Have we?
We've got news.
Well, yeah, of course. I saw Hannah in the our very own Hannah Dawson in the fan zone yesterday, who actually witnessed anti-lunch buying me lunch, which didn't do much to kind of reinforce my perception of being a scrounger.
I was so close to tweeting that out. It was such a good picture of you halfway through eating some. Yeah, but I thought I can't do that to you. So just be lucky Alex was at the football and not on Twitter as much, because I think he would have done.
Sorry,
that's all right. Just do you? We are delighted to say that James McKeown will be joining us on a podcast sometime next week. We just got to confirm the date, and we'll be putting out for questions. I don't imagine it will go live. Will be downloadable first, and then a few days later we'll put it up on YouTube. So do let us add the questions in. Keep an eye on the Twitter account for all the information on that. It'd be great to have him on. Lots to talk about.
That'll be an interesting one, won't it?
Yeah, since the last time he was here. Yeah, absolutely, hugely. And if you do know any Bromley fans, do let them know that we'd like them to come on the podcast so we can preview their game. And if Anthony Woodman is not a coward and will come on here, not hide himself away in the back of Oriental Express, then it would be great to have him on, and he can tell us exactly what we can expect from mighty Bromley. Unless
if he ever does, I'm not coming on. It's too awkward.
It's not awkward. It'll be amazing.
Well, it's awkward now. I couldn't sit here if he ever came on talking to you.
He's a coward. I haven't even asked him yet, but he hasn't even answered, has he?
Probably a man with an infinite amount of better things to be doing with his time than coming and speaking to us.
Mainly eating. Mainly.
Oh, we were so mature. No
wonder
we
went.
Podcast
no really at liberty.
No wonder we
can't live in Bromley. I lived in
wonder...
Bromley, and there's shit takeaways. There's no way he lives in Bromley.
No wonder we weren't on the shirt launch video. We couldn't fit in them for a start. So, do you want us on the shirt? No, I don't think you'll look good in the new shirts, guys. We'll get the other
sack of potatoes tied up.
Doing the fat man thing, trying to pull it out from under your tits.
Can sew two together and just hide the join.
Oh dear. Oh, we're so funny, aren't we? This is you're getting this for free, you know, people. This is free. You're not even paying for it. You should be, but out of the goodness of our hearts and the fact that we haven't worked out a way of monetizing it means that you get this for free.
Equally, I am hoping Andy Woodman stays Bromley manager forever because that will remove about 75% of our banter potentially if he is no longer in football.
No,
Joss.
no. I want Andy Woodman here because I hate him because he's a coward because he hasn't come on the podcast, but also because I would love him as our manager. We would all fall in love with him so quickly as our manager. Going, yeah, I hate him too. I don't know why, but Andy Woodman told me we hate him, so I hate him.
Why do you hate Walsall? I don't know.
Yeah. Who would we
Power
prefer though?
Stadium.
Steve Evans or Andy Woodman?
Well, I know we make these jokes about Andy Woodman, but Andy
Yeah, I
Woodman
like it, Woody's all right.
is slimmer than Steve Evans. So we wouldn't have. So you wouldn't have like Mighty Mariner having to run around the pitch naked because we've had to take his shirt and give it to Steve Evans.
And also, I think.
And there's also no track
Woodman's
record
probably
of
a little bit
sorry,
tongue in cheek. I actually do rate him a lot better than Evans, and you know, Evans has got some what's the word? To not wake the lawyers up. Has had some history of some things.
Oh yeah, he got done for fraud and corruption, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the one.
There's been no stench of malfeasance.
What was Youngie saying?
Yes.
What did he do with Julian Joachim?
When it went to court, Julian Joachim was one of the witnesses that was called up, and they basically said to him in court, right, under oath, how much did your contract say that you were being paid by Boston United? And he was something like £250 a week. And then under oath, how much were you getting paid by Boston United? And he was like, maybe about £1,500 a week in cash or something like that. Yeah.
We could have had Julian Joachim for £1,500 a week.
Well, so something like all cash.
Julian Joachim.
6 grand a month.
Leicester.
Yeah, he was rapid. He was rapid at a point. Probably not when he was at Boston. And also, we need to we need a new. We do need a new theme tune. It could be worse. But at least we are not Scunthorpe United, who bravely and marvelously drew with Newcastle Town, whoever the fuck they are, 1-1. So all well done to Scunny for that.
The line.
Yeah, it's not Newcastle. I did try and get them. I did on the Twitter try and persuade some Scunny fans that it was up in Newcastle, but it didn't set.
Is that why everything I saw or heard on the radio was Newcastle, not in the northeast? Because I kept wondering, why is Radio Humberside keeping saying Newcastle Town of Stafford, not of the northeast?
I don't know. It was
Well, I noticed on Scunny's Twitter yesterday, on the hashtags, they were using hashtag Newcastle. They didn't put Staffordshire. They just put Newcastle on the hashtag. They were trying to convince the world that they were playing in the northeast.
Do you know what else the bastards do? You know, I saw their tweets. Right?
Oh yeah,
Corners are sponsored by. Social media posts are sponsored by. What? Like, how much do you want to sponsor? Like, they've got underpants sponsors and all sorts, probably.
Do you think the club would allow us to sponsor Defensive Cock-Up? Defensive Cock-Up sponsored by... Yeah. Every time we do it, we got to give them 50 quid.
Trending every week.
Next time the podcast logs in, we're under a bridge. Please.
There was one tweet and it was like...
Somebody take Harvey Rogers off, please, for the love of God. My kids have got a week.
I'll find it. I'll find what it said.
The way to monetize the podcast a lot quicker if we start doing that. Maybe we should start sponsoring this. I don't know, scoring worlds or something. Then we'll never have to pay a penny.
Mike's showing his phone.
Match coverage 90+2 corner for the iron. Then a corner flag emoji. Corners are sponsored by Charles Irvine Optometrists. Newcastle 1, Iron 1. Social media posts on match day is sponsored by SBB Law. Then a link to SBB Law. And what's wrong with you?
Hey, that's revenue. I'm
just surprised they've got somebody from the pub team that can post on Twitter.
Yeah, but who's the
Got some-
guy? Youngie, you'll know the guy
Revenue
who,
driving. That's commercialism.
who does the tweets for the Jubilee. Like, you know, even every Sunday League team has a guy doing the tweets. You know, it'll be like,
Absolutely.
you know, sorry, I've got to go on after 65 minutes. There'll be no tweets until final whistle.
Oh, who was it that did that this week? In the Grimsby
Scunny.
League? The Tube.
Scunny.
I felt for Cleethorpes Town yesterday, actually, because they were in the same round, weren't they? And they were minutes away from, but literally got to the 94th minute, and they were going to be in the same draw for the next round of Scunthorpe United, but they lost 1-0 in a 94th minute penalty to Kettering, and the scorer was ex-Newcastle United striker
Oh
Niall Ranger.
my
There you
God,
who's
that's
now playing
not
for
fair.
Kettering.
Niall
Yeah,
Ranger
yeah.
scoring against Cleethorpes Town. What a weird world we live in.
I found out who it was.
Yeah.
Who was it?
So this was from today, Jubilee in. No idea the minute. Admin got subbed on, scored on one leg, injured, back again, back on Twitter for the foreseeable. Think it's a 9-1.
I do love that sort of stuff. It's amazing. And also, massive congratulations to Wimbledon for smashing Franchise Scum 3-0 this weekend. Very much appreciated. And has anyone got anything else to add before we all hot tail out of it? I can't believe it's been an hour. I've missed you, gents.
The commentator loved that, by the way. I'm reliably informed.
What's that?
In the MK Dons Wimbledon game, he proper loved that.
Good. I met a Wimbledon fan going back to Farnborough who was a little worse for wear at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, sorry, 7 o'clock in the afternoon when their game had finished at about 2.
They've got a Bruce as well, have they?
Yeah. All I will say, after experiencing Premier League football for the first time in a long time, I don't want to go up there. So, you know, 100 quid for a fucking ticket at the end of the pitch, and just kids there eating like little berries and stuff, and just not, you know, getting involved, and lots of people in very fashionable clothes who would have been rightly ripped the shit out of if they came to Blundell Park wearing it.
Do they still have the neutral stand at Fulham?
No, they've had to change that. Well, in their defense, the reason they had to have that was because they couldn't section an away end because they can't have turnstiles facing the back of the stand, which goes into the park. They have to actually mix as they go in that away end. It's almost like one half of the pontoon is away, but you all share the concourse. So they had to have a neutral end. Now they don't have to. So they come in another side instead. So they don't have that. West Ham fans were very enjoying everything, apart from the man in the big Iron Cross baseball cap who looked very angry with the world.
It's a West Ham fan.
Yeah. I don't think we could be throwing shade at West Ham. Former European Conference winners.
We know we can move forward and go up. You get to a place like West Ham, it always gets like 9th or 8th in the Premier League, and you think that's it now.
What do you do? You know, what do you do when you get
there? That's it. Completed it, mate.
That's what we're all striving. So when you get angry with Town, just remember, all we're all trying to feasibly achieve is get to 9th in the Premier League. That is literally what we're doing. So maybe we don't need to take it too seriously. All we would really like is a nice couple of European away days. If European Conference League, you got to pick 4 European countries, Sam. 4 European countries, and they can't be the main ones. So we're not going for the ones that automatically qualify for Eurovision. So France are out, Spain are out, Italy are out, Germany are out, Belgium and Holland are out.
That's the extent of Alex's knowledge of European countries.
Okay. So where would I like to go in that one? I don't know. Nice day out. It's just nice away day in Sweden, perhaps.
I've got a really good.
I don't want to go to one of those kind of racist hotbeds in Eastern Europe. Go on.
What was the constituency you worked in, Sam?
Yeah,
that's Western
that's
Europe.
Not relevant.
I've got a curveball one for you, which would be great. Gibraltar.
Don't count. What we play that?
Yeah,
play that
absolutely belting.
That stupid Lincoln Red Imp team.
Yeah, and we'll go batter some other imps. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oi.
Tallinn. Let's go to Tallinn.
Hungary's a good one, I think.
Woodman wants to go there.
Didn't
Czech Republic or Czech.
I got sad music. No, that's not sad enough.
Malta. Nice trip to Malta.
Malta would be nice.
We have officially
Well-
reached that stage of the podcast.
Do you know, that could have been the one thing that Sam said that was really enlightening, and we've missed
Did
it.
he mute? Did he mute himself?
Yeah.
No, it's nice that he's refereeing himself. That's great. I could do sleigh bells.
Oh, yeah.
Rory, the linesman, is a cheat.
The crowd.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. We've got Bromley next. Blundell Park is celebrating 125 years of being Blundell Park, of getting piss-soaked shoes in the main stand and whatever else it may be. So let's remember how joyous it is sometimes when it's quite warm in there and it's not freezing and the rain isn't into your bones, and you feel it 2 days later on a Tuesday.
Is anybody going to check on Sam?
No, I haven't.
Sam's gone. He's had enough.
He's gone.
Oh, his Wi-Fi's gone shit. I thought he'd stormed out slowly over 3G.
He's trying to look at some farming equipment. There we go. All done. Anything for any
Can
more?
I quickly plug the Docs Beers quiz on Thursday night?
No.
Yes.
Thank you. Thursday night, Docs Beers, 7 p.m. It is quiz night with me, Richard Young. So you can book a table through the Docs Beers website, through the chat room, or go and see lovely Daniel Mazdam on the bar, who will sort you out if he's in, and he'll book you a table. It's general knowledge, £2 per player to enter.
Can we not do it online as well? We're not allowed to link in.
I should figure that out, really. Should I? I know you can do I know there's a lot of pub quizzes now that do the smartphone thing, so maybe that's something we can work out. Connecting the world together.
I got caught cheating on the Docs pub quiz by Youngie because I kept putting it in the DN35 podcast group about friends questions.
I mean, that's yeah, that's not really catching you. That's just. I've had a nightmare tonight with.
What was the name? Oh, why?
Oh, so I did so I've just literally rushed back because we've done a Harry Potter quiz this afternoon at Docs, and the quiz that I'll be brutally honest, I am not a Harry Potter fanatic. I don't know an awful lot about Harry Potter, and the pub was obviously filled with people that are like,
okay, how many people
Harry Potter fans?
Right, Mike, we've got to play a game here. How many people do you think came in costume? I'm going with how many people were in the room?
About 120 in the room.
So out of 120, how many people you think came in Harry Potter dress?
A solid 12.
10%. I'm going with 10. I'm going to undercut you. How many, Youngie?
Around, I think it was about 8 or 9. But you also had a lot of people in Harry Potter, obviously merchandise, scarves, things like that. Generally lovely. I have to say they were generally nice people. But the problem was that when I was doing the answers, I had a lot of. That's not right. They are, if I gave the full name, for example, they would say, well, in the film, they're only known as Professor so-and-so. And then you have somebody who's a book fanatic going, but I know the full name. And it was all a little bit messy, I have to say. And I was glad to be out of there by the way, if Will Douglas is watching this and you are any complaints, please pass them to Daniel Mazdam. Thank you.
Fine. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just do an Alan Buckley.
Oh, yeah, please come Thursday night. Thank you.
Well, that'd be how Bruce would be on a town one. Bruce would be like that, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
definitely.
Right. We've got to do it. I think Will has asked us so many times to do a DN35 pub quiz. We'll do it. We'll go and we'll set up a team, Mike. But what we'll do is it'll just me, you, Sam, and we'll get Bruce to answer all the questions, and Youngie will tell us the questions before the start of the show.
Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, absolutely.
We'd still get them wrong. Do you know that?
Yeah. Last thing as well. To celebrate 125 years of Blundell Park, we still do the prints, so you get 25% of that until the end of the month. I'll put a tweet out there so you can get them. But there's some quite nice ones, and the printer's got ink in now, so you're more than welcome to Buy some if you want to.
Is that why we haven't been mentioning them for a while? Because we haven't had any ink.
It's really expensive.
I only thought the other day, like, I'm sure we had a printer.
I was looking at getting a wood engraving machine, but it's $4,000, and I don't.
And
we've got
what's
to,
wrong with
we've
that?
got to, we've got to milk the Talk Sport money first before we get that. There we go. Mike, anything you want to plug?
No.
Okay, fine.
My caravan.
Well, oh yeah, I'm literally setting you up for it. So, Mike, you get a minute on your caravan.
It's a caravan, and I don't have it until November. That's all you're getting.
Can't even tell us how many berths, for God's sake.
Oh, it's 3-bedroom, 8 berths. It'll be available in November, so it will only be open.
That really. So,
March,
when you
so
want
come and let me know.
You can take bookings from November. That really popular time to go to Cleethorpes Beach.
Got anybody you hate? Send them my way. They won't enjoy it.
Do your grandparents worry about freezing because of the lack of the winter fuel allowance? Well, why not do it in style and freeze to death in Mike's new camper van? 8 berths. You can all huddle together for warmth. Did that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. We can we'll cut that for you, and you can put it on Tinterweb. I can imagine a rolling, like one of those twirling pictures of a cut that come up on the caravan.
Yeah, I'm up 2 weeks. I've got to go sign paperwork for it. And we're away.
Do you want to buy this camper van? Do you really want to buy this caravan?
Look, do you know how bad this has happened, right? So I'm up in 2 weeks to sign paperwork, and when we're playing away. Then I'm up a couple of weeks late to do something else. And it's FA Cup week. We haven't got a fixture in the diary yet. So I could have had 2 home games there and shut Bruce and Sam. Oh, you've only been to 6.
Hopefully we get a home game. Fingers crossed we get a home game.
When's our next home game, Mike?
Fucking Sutton away.
When's our next viable home game for us, or away game for us?
Away game, it's Gillingham on October the 1st, I think.
I don't want to go to Gillingham. We'll lose as well.
Gillingham.
Well, I'm at AFC Wimbledon. If you can join us at AFC Wimbledon,
I'll be at AFC Wimbledon and at Bromley. Mm-hmm. Take a brolly for the shitstorm that's going to come that coward's way. Anyway, Mike, we don't want to talk about the cricket, so let's move on from that. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's been nice to be back. Anything before we go? I keep saying that. Cool. Good. See you all later. Goodbye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be on a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Why are there still 50 people watching?
I think they think it's like the end, the end credits of an Avengers film or something like that, and they're going to get some kind of like extra bonus content at the end.
But like shit Japanese knockoff version that's like called something like the Avengers or something, just to get around copyright.
The Lennell Avengers.
Why are we still on? Is something happening or?
No, I was just being entertaining because then it shows that Sam isn't here for the majority of the show.
Yeah. And this is a bit where Bruce buggers off. He never stays to chat to us after.
He doesn't stay. No, he's gone before you know it. It's unbelievable. It's inconsiderate. And then he'll come in and
Sam
say, look.
Does that at games?
Yeah, Sam does that now.
Yeah, he does it at games. He used to go to a game with Sam and he says, I'll meet you in there. And he sits at the other side of the bar just watching like a weirdo. And then as soon as he goes, straight out the door. And he tries to, I came and said hello to you. I said, no, you didn't. It's the way out. I was next to the door. So, shit house.
Yeah.
Can we go?
To be fair to Sam, he did come and